He was their inspiration. He made their lives extraordinary. Did he? Number 39 is Dead Poets Society. Welcome to Long Play Video. Yeah, and here we are on a warm autumnal evening, as very befitting of the movie. No more gelato anymore. Now it's just strictly hot chocolates and marshmallows in the shop. But we're down into the 30s at number 39 now. Big news, obviously, as we tick off each 10 movies. And we've invited a guest back today who I think is fast becoming our Robin Williams guest for no particular reason. But Freddie's come down to the shop again.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
Welcome. Good to have you back. Have you brought a film? Is it another Robin Williams classic that isn't on the list, or?
Well, since it's been Christmas recently, there's lots of Christmas movies, really. So I guess, the one I have to plan is the Wallace and Gromit, the new one of those.
Oh, wow!
Nice,
good choice.
Nice. How was it? Did it live up to the hype? You know what these Wallace and Gromit fans are like.
I don't care. I'm just like, it's whatever. I didn't find it life changing, but the rest of the UK disagree with me. So
was life changing. Wow.
They love anything traditional. Wallace and Gromit. We're not allowed to watch it in the house. Poppy got scared when she was about 3 of one of them, so now she refuses to watch any of them. Even though obviously she's a lot older now. But we have obviously a few weeks ago now been Christmas movied out. So no, it's good to return the videos. A bit late, it's the end of January probably. Good to have it.
You always get an extension period from December to January.
The shop's been a bit quiet. The January sales haven't worked for us. But here we are at number 39. As mentioned before, Dead Poets Society. Now, Freddie, I know that you already have somewhat of a checkered relationship with this movie.
It was put on one day, and to be honest, whatever video game I was playing at the time called to me more. So I probably watched all of 10 minutes of it, with Dad saying, it's great, it gets really good, just keep going. And I thought, no, I'd rather play whatever I was playing at that time.
I'd rather look at the wall.
Exactly.
So
So you've covered the first 10 minutes, but you've come down to the shop to watch the rest of it. Kev, I mean, this is in your wheelhouse. Obviously, came out in 1989, so it's just about an 80s movie. 80s coming of age movie. Surely this is top 10 for you, is it? Or
I've not seen it. So
bombshell.
Definitely not top 10.
How have you not seen this film?
Out of choice, not allowed of. I don't. 80s movies generally are always like really fun. Like the 80s was everything about the 80s was just fun and happiness, as if there was nothing bad in the world. And it was
just why you moved there.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I now live here. But this is not one of those movies, so it just didn't really appeal to me. Like, there's so many amazing, fun 1980s movies you could watch. So I was like, why am I going to watch this? This is going to be depressive.
Well, I think it's a really good point, and something that you have to definitely think about as you go into this movie is that this movie is set in 1959. And for me, that is almost the most important thing to remember, because for me, I think that's why this film is good, is that the setting of it in 1959, and obviously the beginning of the 60s and what that kind of means. And, these are quite literally the boomers coming in. that is what kind of makes it hold up for me, and why I like it so much, because I think there's kind of three different films and kind of themes going on in the movie. There is like the student teacher thing. Obviously, yeah, I'm sure you know enough about the film that you know Robin Williams is like the inspirational teacher, like that. For me, that's fine. I don't know. Whenever I listen to a podcast on this, whenever I listen to anything on Dead Poets, everyone then names their teachers that were really inspirational in their life. Have either of you had any teachers that you remember? Obviously, a bit harder for you, Kev, to remember, but for you, Freddie, probably a little bit easier. And obviously, it goes without saying me, but you don't need to say.
Life teachers.
I don't know if I have. I mean, there are teachers' names, but I wouldn't have said any of them really paved the way for me. I kind of did that myself. They put the paper in front of me and I wrote. So yeah, I wouldn't say anyone. I didn't have a Robin Williams. So.
Yeah. No, I'm exactly the same. There's no like, Mrs. whatever in the English class really set me up for life. So I don't really resonate with that. Like, I think it's because it's Robin Williams, it's because he is very good in this, that's kind of what it's remembered for. And, you know, arguably also, we won't even get it. It's another DVD cover that I'm vetoing. I'm not gonna share it because it doesn't tell you anything about the And then I think there is like the group dynamic of the kids, which actually I do think is quite good and it's quite interesting. Obviously, all being in 1959, but like the different dynamics and the kids kind of coming together in like, you know, prep school and boarding school. Like, you know, I think that's sort of interesting. But then the thing that I think actually makes the film hold up most is like generational conflict, and especially like kind of autonomy versus freedom. Again, like set in 1959, right? So this is sort of the generation who literally born at the end of the Second World War. It's the beginning of the 60s. Like before this time, there was no such thing as a teenager. This is all about, well, how do you kind of react to sort of, you know, having very, you know, stiff controls and rules and regulations that you had to come, that you had to follow. And obviously like coming out of the war where that was kind of proved not to be that great, is having dictators and having someone tell you what to do. But like, obviously that was actually, you know, everything, even in the UK and the US, you know, especially in these types of schools, it was corporal punishment. It was, you know, it was like really, you have to follow the rules. You can't just go out and be crazy. You have to sort of do things the way they're supposed to be done and very traditional. And I think that for me is really, really interesting in this. Is kind of like, what do you do when you come up against kind of power that you can't kind of overthrow? How do you deal with that? And what, you know, do you just go along with it? Do you rebel against it? You know, what are the different things? And I think in each of the kids' characters and each of their story arcs, you really kind of you get that different ways of kind of how they're all dealing with that type of really strict kind of like really strict sort of dogmatic way of being taught stuff.
Well, I just listened to a World War II documentary.
Are you saying that the boomers are disruptors? Is this what you're trying to tell me? Which is definitely not the world they currently live in.
Don't post this on Facebook because I'll have a go at you.
Well, luckily they don't know how to get onto Spotify.
we all become the system, right? We all become conservative as we get older. But like there were no teenagers before this, right? You can't honestly say that the generation going into the 60s almost was the most transformative generation. Like, and obviously, you know, obviously, again, like this was filmed in 89, right? And so it's looking back 30 years. And, you know, if you did that now, it would be 1995 that, you know, the film would be set in.
1995, Andy, what was he up to?
It was a school, not this type of school. But that's the thing, like the difference between 1959 and 1989 and the comparison today, obviously like technology for that are 30 years definite, but the difference between 59 and 89, obviously you've got kind of the specter of the Vietnam War kind of over everything. You've got literally these are the boomers. These are the people coming out of the Second World War, right? And I think that's what's actually interesting about it, is seeing a film set back then, because they did do a lot of research and they did try and make it as authentic as possible.
So first of all, I was already a little bit depressed about watching this movie, and now you're telling me it's a documentary about the boomers. So, I'm not sure about this film, but either you're describing it badly, or or maybe I'm just not ready for this in end of January 2025.
Well, that's I mean, that's obviously why it's autumn in the shop, as all of these films that are set in boarding school in in somewhere like New Hampshire, and I don't even know where New Hampshire is, but like they're always based somewhere like that, aren't they? So
yeah,
but yeah, no, I think that's why it's interesting. And like, this isn't a fun movie. Like this, I do think that this makes you think.
You're definitely setting this up perfectly.
This isn't
You're
fun.
not going to enjoy
it's number
this.
39. You're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
I'll just get in early. But but it's a good film, and arguably bordering on a great film because of that.
I don't know what to say to this. So who's in it? I know Robbie Williams is in it. Is there anyone else in it that would know, or is it just really? Is he going to be leading the charge?
No, so Ethan Hawke.
Oh yeah.
That obviously you'll know from such great films as I can't even remember. Oh, Juliet Naked.
Being Juliet, whatever. Yeah. Horrific. He was the only good thing in that film.
Yeah, exactly. And he's obviously very young in this. This was his first his first movie role. And then if you're a House fan, Dr. Wilson. Obviously no one knows what he's called in real life. But yeah, he's one of the other kids. And then there's a few older actors that you kind of you recognize, that have been in sort of the old Out of Touch person in kind of other movies, but none of the other sort of child actors. There's kind of a group of 5 of them really, and they had careers and they were in TV and stuff, but they didn't really go anywhere. But is a Oscar winner for best screenplay.
Well, we know what that means. You're moving this film further and further down the list. This is not good. What is happening?
The screenplay ones usually.
Oh,
right.
You're changing your tune.
Yeah, it's good. Well, funny. I mean, it's a very strange year for the Oscars in 1989, because in the Best Picture category, you've got My Left Foot, which is obviously and
great film.
Daniel Day-Lewis wins the Oscar for it. You've got Field of Dreams, which has lasted. Dead Poets Society, Born on the 4th of July, obviously serious cruise. And then the winner of Best Picture was Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh, wow, that's
I haven't heard of a single one of those other than Dead Poets.
Wow.
Get ready. We're going to back all of these now, Freddie. Someone lock the door.
Well, I was like, My Left Foot. I was like, I mean, if you've got nominated for that, Andrew, well done. I don't know if I'd say it's the Best Picture, but
no, but I that's fair enough that you've not seen My Left Foot. Field of Dreams, is
no clue.
It's classic. I mean, we just have words with your father about it. Upbringing all the time.
Well, why is he making you watch Dead Poets Society when you could be watching Field of Dreams? It's a much better film.
Well, and then it wins best screenplay. It's up against Crimes and Misdemeanors, which is a Woody Allen film, Do the Right Thing, which is obviously like seminal Spike Lee, Sex, Lies and Videotape, and When Harry Met Sally. So again, all of those movies are very well win movies. Robin Williams is nominated for best leading actor, which I think is I'm not sure whether I would say that he's actually the lead in this. He's not in it very much actually. So again, I don't, when I watch it, I don't see him as the lead.
But
I think
is he Good Morning Vietnam? I think he's possibly the only one I can think of when he's the lead. I don't think he's the lead really has seen these films. He's always got connecting or joined lead.
Yeah, no, I mean, he has quite a few leads, but I think they're always kind of a bit maybe not as popular, like Awakenings, The Fisher King, things like that. You know,
Yeah.
this is Doubtfire, obviously. But yeah, so again, best actor this year, Daniel Day-Lewis
Yeah.
wins it for My Left Foot, which is
Yeah.
a very, very good performance. Kenneth Branagh, Tom Cruise, Morgan Freeman, Robin Williams. That's
Well, yeah, that's pretty good. What was Branagh in for?
Henry V.
Oh, of course he was.
Yeah. But then even if Robin was in Best Supporting Actor, he would have gone
Yeah.
up against Denzel for Glory, where he won his Oscar for that, which obviously is a very good performance. So he may not have won that as well. But
so it's just he should have been alive now. He'd have been easily won an Oscar, right? It's competition was too steep.
He got one in the end. Well, it's funny because then when I was thinking about this film, I was thinking, is Robin Williams my favorite actor of all time? Because he features a lot in the list.
Yeah, so he must be, right?
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else that I'm like, oh, I actually prefer this person as an actor. I do like just the balance between, like, obviously he's very, very funny, but then I think he does serious quite well as well. He's obviously been in, I think, just Good Will Hunting up until that point, up until this point. He's then in this. He's in at least 2 others in my top 38.
I think he's got to be, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think
there's bombshells everywhere. Unbelievable.
and also, like, I think now it's 11 years ago since he passed away. So that's crazy to.
Mind you, so hold on. How many films are there? Because it could just be David Prowse could be your favorite actor. Because how many Star Wars films have you got on?
I mean, only 3. I don't think it's him in Rogue One. He looks. I don't think he's doing the good scene from Rogue One. So probably it's just about him.
You
David
do you remember
Bowie,
the first time you saw this?
Close second. No, I don't. This is just kind of one of those that I'd always seen, and like I think you just sort of at the time I think you just kind of watched it as a kid, and I think like watching it kind of then, and obviously you've got the literary angle as well with poetry, which kind of features in a lot of other movies, and is obviously something I'm interested in, and writing and stuff like that. So I would have been sort of early teens. I would have thought, I wouldn't, I didn't go and watch it at the cinema, but I would have probably been like 13, 14 when I first watched this.
Do you think it will be good for you once you watch the film again to summarize it in a poem for us?
I mean, I'm all about haikus these days, so I'll see what I can come up with. But I mean, funnily enough, just to really drive the nail home, this is the most romantic with a capital R of any of the films on the list.
Is there a lot of poetry in it? I know, obviously.
No, there's not. Okay. No, there's
because that would ruin it for me. I don't get the poetry.
They're all dead poets.
That's great. Great for me.
Those are the best poets. No, that's the thing. But like, sort of watching it before, I think I watched it as almost one of the kids, and now watching it was on my 50 movies to watch 2 years ago, I think 3 years ago, and I rewatched it then, and I just really thought that it held up because there are lots of different storylines, because it's not just focused on one kid. There's kind of 4 of the kids, where it's sort of each of their storylines. Robin Williams really isn't in it a lot, but he makes a splash with it. And then I just do really think it's just a really interesting look at authority, and what do you do when you come up against authority, that I think is as relevant today as ever, especially when people in authority obviously maybe aren't the people that a lot of people would choose, right? So what happens if you're against the system? And obviously at the time, especially in conservative circles, there was no way out of it. And then you had the entire counter culture that kind of came out of it in the 60s and everything else. So I think from that point of view, it's just really, interesting. And it's, yeah, as I say, hot chocolate. We'll sit down and watch it. It's not popcorn. You're not going to be getting too excited about
Yeah.
it. But it's a really good film that's really well put together. The director, Peter Weir, who obviously I'm sure that you all familiar with, and
Yep.
I'm
I've
looking
watched all
forward
his
to
films.
seeing another one of his. There is a
Yeah.
great story that really dates the movie that said that actually the only reason he could make this film is because he wanted to make Green Card with Gérard Depardieu. But at the time, Gérard Depardieu was too busy with other mainstream films, and so he couldn't make Green Card for another year. In which case, he came and made this film instead. And you just think those were the times when Gerard was in such high demand that you couldn't get him into your film. But
That's amazing.
goes on and directs Truman Show, Master and Commander, which are you can love and hate, but it's it's a very well directed movie. He's kind of coming into this off the back of Witness as well. Obviously your mate Harrison
Ford.
Yeah. No, very early Harrison Ford, so presumably like fine. I know that you don't like. Is it mid-career actors or is it old actors?
No, it's only Hanks. Hanks was the only one that decided that he was going to show. He became like the new Jesus in his mid-career. No, yeah, everyone else is fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at the moment, Harrison, if you're getting a gang together, if Hanks is getting the 18 together, I feel like he brings in Harrison Ford. I feel like they're surely of the same ilk.
Harrison Ford's, I think, too cool for Tom Hanks.
Yeah, controversial. Well, not really controversial because you hate Tom Hanks. So.
Do you still see yourself as one of the kids when you read? Well, obviously we'll see in the next part, but do you still think put yourself in the shoes of the kids?
No. Yeah, no, I don't.
Am I going to watch it and you'll be one of the authoritative people? I'll be like,
exactly.
I'm put all these rules on me.
Yeah,
I have to be here dead on.
Well, it's the Rewatchables podcast. This is very funny when one of the people just sticks up for the authoritarian teachers and dads in it, which is quite funny and a little bit controversial by the end of the film. But yeah, no, I don't think I ever really saw myself in any of the kids. But you definitely you definitely as you get older, I feel like I'm becoming Robin Williams to your Freddie. But as you get older,
some music on in the background.
You do sense yourself more in the what are they doing and judging them rather than being able to be one of the gang. Although obviously another Robin Williams film coming up, spoilers, in Hook, obviously, it's fine. Then you can just be one of the Lost Boys again. So
Hook is in Peter Pan.
Maybe I don't know. You might get it's got Robin Williams in it, so maybe
I'll get
your invite. We could just start that podcast with you being like, what? Why is this on your list?
That would be.
You thought there was only going to be a few films ready that you were going to be now in for this year. Well, actually, there's about another 20 Robin Williams films.
This season 2, just go through Robin Williams films. There is a podcast series that goes through all of Robin Williams films, which was quite good.
Which you co-host or?
Well, there's also there are podcasts, entire series of podcasts on this film as well. I found one of them, which was the funniest bit, that they said within 10 minutes, they said, look, I don't want to get into the fan fiction around Dead Poet Society, but
wow,
and I was just like,
brilliant.
It's fan fiction around
one
this
film.
Yeah, so apparently there's an entire genre of people imagining that they're in the classes and in the school at different points. So
that's right.
It's a whole movement, Kev, that you've missed out on.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And Andy will be reading his next time.
Yeah.
It was an autumnal day, the first day that I went to.
You better get a really good hiking because I've got a feeling me and Freddie are not going to like this. He's really...
Well, go into it with an open mind. Go into it with with an open mind, thinking about
The
how
teaching
it's
never stops, does it?
yeah,
It's
exactly.
constant.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a couple of weeks since we did Return of the Jedi, but I feel like
Yeah.
Yoda and me have a lot in common. So yeah, well, I mean, without further
Yeah.
ado, we'll get it on. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that I think neither of you can like this, so I won't bother going into the predictions room. But who knows? We might be pleasantly surprised. So we'll see after the jump.
Surprising, I put.
Ooh,
Okay. Is that
interesting.
it's a nice neutral word. Surprising, it
Yeah.
was worse than you thought it was going to be. The way that I
Yeah.
had sold it in was completely wrong, or
No, well, there was obviously, as we'll get to, there was a surprising turn, but
oh
I
yeah,
was pleasantly surprised actually that I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Nice.
Kev, your one word.
Horrific. A little bit different.
I mean, maybe still talking about the same ending. Is that what
Yeah.
you're referencing?
I think the ending was the only thing that was good about it. I actually worked out a way how to speed it up, and I then did so. It was it was not enjoyable. I didn't enjoy it at all.
Oh wow! Were you watching? So you're watching on like 1.5 speed?
Not quite 1.5, but like 1.2.
What is Robin Williams on 1.5 speed? Must be
Yeah,
it must be
hectic,
yeah.
very hectic.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. We'll
Oh.
just
What about you then? What's your word? One word.
we'll just
Complete
ignore
the
Kev
trilogy.
for the- Yeah, no, I still thought, I still thought it was good. I still enjoyed it. Funnily enough, after the way that I described it in the first half, this
Yeah.
time on the watch, I was like, oh no, this is just about the teacher, and just everything else. I don't know. Maybe it was just the last time that I watched it that I wasn't into the teacher storyline, but like this time, I realized that he actually he gives Neil the book. He gives him his book because he leaves it in his desk. And I don't think I ever quite realized. I always thought that Neil found the book that had the thing that they read at the beginning of Dead Poets, but he actually just leaves it for him in his desk, which is a bit more insightful. Then I did also this time notice. Obviously, they're like, oh, we put something in the news in the student newspaper from the Dead Poets Society, and the headmaster has been there basically forever. And in his yearbook, it says he's president of the Dead Poets Society. It's not. I don't think you need Columbo to figure out who's going to have influenced them. But clearly it was still a bit hidden. So, well, I mean, Fred, last time I think you said you made it about 5 minutes in. So this time, what did you like about it? What were the what were the bits that you thought were better than you expected, or that you enjoyed?
Yeah. Well, the ending I actually did like. I like how everything kind of added up to this big. Well, it wasn't a massive moment, but it was quite an impactful scene at the end. But as my friend said, because I was talking to them about it, they said, "Do you just like it because of the ending?" So I had to think that. Is, So then there's quite a few bits I did like about the different storylines and stuff. And while I don't care at all for poetry, and I thought to myself, there's no way I would go to a cave with my friends and we'd actually read this stupid book and read the stupid poems. We'll go to the cave and throw the book away and do anything else.
Well, they do just start telling ghost stories, which is basically what you would do as a.
But I couldn't believe they even let the idea go to begin with.
Yeah.
I
Freddie,
enjoyed it.
You've got no idea how good your generation's got it. That was fun in the 50s. That was the best thing you could
reading
do.
poems in a cave. Rather than, explore the cave.
Like high end. Yeah.
Just go in it and you tell stories.
The TikTok of the 1950s was reading a book in a cave.
Yeah. Oh, funny. Yeah. I do feel the same though. Like you were saying about your friends, I do like it just to be in like the end. How they build that together, that does go well. But the rest of it, like you said, it is a lot of just people laughing about reading stuff in caves, which wasn't that entertaining.
I really hope that's how you're explaining it to the aliens. But so the ending is in the standing up on the seats ending.
No,
because obviously, like
that's the ending I was talking about.
No, like the death.
Yeah. So I mean I think that's done really well. I think that's shot really, really well. It kind of gets a little bit cheesy then with the dad. Like the slow-mo. Yeah.
Oh, it is awful. And that guy's a pretty good actor. I was like, I don't believe this guy at all.
Yeah. But like up until then, I think it's really like the fact that you don't hear the shot, but he just wakes up and he's just like, what was that? But they don't make the sound of the shot.
No, but he plays it off as if someone's knocked a box over or something. And no, I've never heard a gunshot go off, but I feel like it's a lot louder and you identify a lot quicker than, what's that?
Well, when you're
in the war as well.
Grab the weapon or something, surely. He just wandered around his house, the window's open, his son's gone.
Turned all the lights on, so they know exactly where he is. Yeah. And wasn't he in the war? So wouldn't he have a bit more nous about him with these things?
Yeah. He's put all of that behind him. It's I mean,
I've had like it really seems like it.
I've had like a picture fall off a wall downstairs at night. It's one of the creepiest things ever. You're like, oh, do I have to go down there? Can we not just agree that if someone's robbing us, it's fine?
We'll just let them take it.
But that's I think that bit's really good, and like very like for the 80s. I mean, obviously for the late 50s, but for the 80s to have that almost sort of unwarned for there to be a suicide.
I didn't expect it at all. I did not expect it. I mean, I kind of obviously like right before I'm like, oh, this is going dark, but actually even when he pulled the gun out, although I don't think they show it's a gun, but you can assume. I was I still thought he was just going to kill the dad. I was like,
oh, wow.
I can't blame you because this he just got nice.
Yeah, crazy.
I thought it was going to be, he came to watch the show and he finally accepts his son. It wasn't that. So I didn't expect that, and I thought that was well done. But no, the ending I was talking about was the standing on the tables. I thought that was
okay.
Yeah, there's a
ending.
Kevin obviously just thought, get down, it's dangerous. Helping safety or something.
Look at the wobble on those desks. The bit just before that as well, when he says that all of the introductions have been ripped out, and you just see Robin Williams like smirk to himself in the cupboard, I think is great. Clearly, he was just trying to amuse himself the entire way through. That was basically what he was doing. He was bored and he was just trying to amuse himself. What I always liked about that scene is not all of the boys get up. And I think that just sort of makes it so much better, is like actually a whole bunch of people don't get up. And I think that's where the like, how do you respond to the rules, and to, do you go against authority? Okay, Kev, we'll get to the answers quickly. Would you have said it was Keaton? Would you have signed the contract?
Well, no, exactly. No, I wouldn't. And that's exactly what I was just about to say. It's all well and good them being, oh, look how brave I am standing on a desk. Well, you signed his warrant though, didn't you? I mean, you signed a death sentence. It's like, he's being hung, but you've gone, well, but I'm not going to watch it. And you're like, well, thanks. Thanks for the help. No, I would not have signed it. I would have left that school in a heartbeat anyway. So that would have worked out perfectly.
Yeah, you're identifying as Nwanda, obviously. What about you? What about you, Feds? Would you have signed it? It's a good school. You don't want to ruin your prospects. You're not telling them anything they don't already know. As the guy who comes in, where he's like, "What's up, fellas?" and you're like, "You've grasped." Like it's so.
I hate that character. He really, As soon as he came in, I was like, I hate you. I'd like to say I wouldn't sign it. Obviously, I can't put myself. But I mean, the whole time I was like, no, it's just wrong. But they obviously all are afraid of their parents. So which I'm not.
Oh, what you say there? Big talk now. Let's see what happens next week. Yeah,
Oh,
I do.
dear.
I think it is. It is just shot really well as well. I really like I mean, when they're running off to the cave and they've got the hoods on, like they've got
Yeah,
the
that was
the
good.
kind of the old jackets and stuff, and they just blend into the mist. I mean, I would say the security at the school is quite lax if giving
Yeah.
1 million biscuits to the dog is all it takes to get out. But like, I do think that's really well shot. And I do really like the character of Neil because he's like the enthusiasm in the first half of the film. Like all of them are a bit weird, but he just seems like quite happy and quite into it. And then obviously his dad comes around and yeah, is
Yeah.
a little less so.
Yeah.
Although I think his dad actually came up with the subtitle for the pod when he says, "Don't you ever dispute me in public." I'm going to
Oh,
start saying
wow.
that to you, Kev. I think-
Yeah.
Only in the shop, never outside. Yeah.
Don't dispute me
Yeah.
outside of the shop.
Oh, let me ask you this then. So obviously, when it starts building out that storyline of the suicide, and then obviously from there on, I think that is well shot and it's good storyline and it's well pulled together. Walk me through everything before then, how that's exciting. The 2 hours before that, what?
You're not even in the TikTok generation. What are you talking about?
Oh, well, I'm happy to
it's-
watch a good film, but it was just, I mean, Freddie's nailed it. He's got it in 140 characters or less. Some guys go to a cave and laugh at poetry.
It's about building up the atmosphere. It's about I think the dynamic between the kids is really good because you don't really know who the main character is, and I think that actually sort of it keeps it going as well because each of the three kids, like they each have sort of their own storyline that's going on. The reading the poetry or making the poetry up from Ethan with Robin Williams. You're not
That was a good scene. Yeah, I did like that scene.
Okay.
These are some of my notes that I wrote. I'll just give you a quick synopsis. 11 minutes in, nothing's happened. 20 minutes in, nothing's happened. 50 minutes in, nothing's happened. 58 minutes, we finally get the good scene with Ethan Hawke. Yeah.
Well, up until then, it's about the kids and the way that the parents and they react to their parents, and kind of. I mean, not full Lord of the Flies, but obviously, I mean, just at the very I would say just at the very beginning, how to alienate an audience straight away is by having bagpipes in the opening 3 minutes of a film. I think that's bold.
Do you think bagpipes were invented by the Scottish just to annoy everyone else? Just
get them running away so that because no one wants to. I mean, I think just to begin with, it's very apparent. Robin Williams doesn't have to be like an inspirational teacher. He just has to not be a dick, and he's like miles ahead of every other teacher. So he could have just turned up and actually just been all right and not just been a complete psychopath. So
what did they win the Oscar for?
Screenplay.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was going to say I wasn't quite sure how this one an Oscar, but then that makes more sense.
No.
Yeah, I don't think this is Oscar worthy though. It's not that I want us to keep pounding on this drum, but it was definitely pretty dull.
I mean, I don't think we'll start talking about dull films that have won the Oscars because we try and keep these just to an hour.
So, what was surprising to you then, Freddie? Like, what was it that you
I don't know, I
enjoyed about it?
So the ending and that whole thing obviously was very surprising. But before that, I just quite liked the kids' dynamic and the little. I thought all their stories were quite good actually. I did think I actually probably cared the least for Ethan Hawke's character.
He's so whingy.
Wow.
He's cool. He's just but he's Skywalker. He's obviously clearly the like socially anxious guy, but then he's sometimes he's just very like overly confident, which does happen with your friends. But he's known these guys for like 2 days, and he's like doing all this stuff. I'm like, but you're socially anxious. How are you doing this? That's not how it works. It's not just suddenly go over in 2 days with people you've known barely, and
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
literally started off and thought you were weird.
Yeah.
He's such a killjoy as well. When Neil comes
Hall.
in and talking about the acting and stuff, and he's like, "Well, that's not going to work. What are you going to
Oh
tell
yeah,
your
that was
dad?" You're
awful.
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, man."
Yeah, really ruined it.
That's what I really want to do. No, don't do it. It's not going to. Well, he was right though, right?
I mean, he was right. Yeah,
Yes,
He
that's very
was-
true.
it wasn't a foolproof plan, was it? Oh, I'm just going to type a letter. All right. What happens if someone meets your dad? Oh, no, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be all good.
and well, I didn't care for the poetry stuff because I don't. I tuned out all of those bits because I was like, I'm sure it has some underlying meaning, but I do not care. Just tell me to my face.
Well,
But yeah,
it's
some of
good
the other
job.
classes that he did were good, and yeah, Robin Williams was good, and then obviously Carpe Diem was the thing which my dad says all the them in time.
Oh wow.
So
But when you listen to him, apparently that's what he's saying. The rest of the time you're not listening. So
yeah, he said a
Yeah.
whole paragraph of poetry beforehand, but I didn't hear that bit.
Yeah. What about you? I just remembered, Andy, you were going to give us a little poem, weren't you?
well, I went for I said about the haiku.
A
right?
haiku,
So
yeah.
maybe at the end, maybe in the credits, we'll have it to add in there.
What a little surprise for everyone.
Yeah. I would say that out of all of the kids, the one I identified most with is the one who said the cat sat on the mat. Because he looks so proud of himself, and he's like, "Well, I did the assignment," and he like gives his mate a little like, and then even at the end, he sort of begrudgingly gets up, and I feel like that would be me as well. I'd be like, "Go on then, go on, I'll get up for you as well."
You'd be up. You'd be one of the first up. You rebelling against the system. You definitely wouldn't have signed. You'd have been like, "What is this place?" You'd have been letting me change it immediately.
Funnily enough, the phone gag that he does in assembly, I actually did in a lesson.
There you are. See?
Yeah, it was the first mobile phones around. No, not many people had them, and one of my friends got someone to call her mobile phone and then give it to me, and I pretended it was my mum, and had a conversation in the middle of we were doing like a trial or something in English class, and so yeah.
And did you get
such a rebel
10 spankings for that or whatever?
Yeah. He is that old. Yeah.
No, the teacher was in on it and was like, "I smell a rat," and went running after the people who had made the phone call and stuff. So because I didn't go to a prep school in New England. So
Yeah.
Thankfully,
Wow.
I think.
Look at that. 1995, Andy. He was like, look, what a jester.
What a joker. It was funny. My wife did come down and watch just about 10 minutes of it, particularly when Neil was telling Robin Williams that he'd told his dad. And my wife, who has seen Dead Poets Society many times before, was like, "He's lying. I think he's lying." And I'm like, "No, we know he's lying." And then she said, I never understood. Why don't you just tell his dad to off? I was like, yeah, no, that's
Different
fair,
times.
That's a fair comment.
Yeah. A little bit different, isn't it? It is a weird one when you think about it, isn't it? You look back at how the things have changed so much since the 50s. Like there was so much control to, how it sort of went through when we were kids and how it sort of is now. It definitely is changed significantly. Yeah.
Well, I think just the idea that they could force him to be a doctor. And he's like, "Well, you're going to be a doctor." And you're like, I think there were opportunities to not be a doctor along the route of being a doctor. I don't think if your heart's not in it, I think it's pretty easy to not be a doctor. So
I almost don't want them to be a doctor if they're just going to half-ass it.
Yeah. I wonder if you think as well, like when you've been in a war and you're thinking, if we had another war, what job would I want my kid to do? And if you're a doctor, you're not you might be in the trenches, but you're not going over the front line, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You're going to see some pretty awful stuff.
You'd see, awful stuff, but you just might not die. That's the only thing. So
you'd be tough enough.
They did that and didn't end up well anyway. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that did work out. Yeah, that was pretty. That was. That would have been devastating, wouldn't it? When he's like, so I'm gonna have to go to medical school. I'm gonna join in the army, and it's gonna be 10 years. And he's like, yeah, this doesn't sound too good, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm up for this.
But that is the thing, and I do think that's the question for me that it asks is like, what do you do when you think authority is wrong? And obviously, like he just felt trapped and like gave up as the allegory rather than anything else. Like obviously like other people then like just sort of tried to bring the system down or like rebelled against it and went out, and then other people went with the system either like willingly or unwillingly. And I do think that's really interesting, just what the film has to say of like, well, when you do think authority is wrong, what do you do? Do you stand up against it? Do you go with it, trying just to kind of get your head down and get through? And I think arguably in this day and age, that's a question that is more pertinent than ever. So I think it's it's interesting.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, it just makes you. I mean, I don't know if, I mean, while I was saying I wouldn't sign the thing, I don't know if I'd be the first person to stand up. It's, you know, you have to be a very brave individual, don't you? And it just makes you think like people like, you know, Gandhi, you know, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, you know, those people, like the first people. I mean, it would have been very daunting, right? It's very hard to be the first person, sure.
Yeah, throw the first stone. I don't actually know why they need the kids to sign the paper. Surely they just sack him.
Well, yeah, they must know anyway, right? Like, what difference does it make? Is it just so that he could never get a job anywhere else as well?
Especially
just
all
to rub
6 or all 5, whatever. Surely 2's fine.
Exactly.
One other person.
Yeah, I don't know. Why do they get them to sign it? It does seem pointless, isn't it?
Right, maybe it's just to break their spirit as well. That's what authority. That's what authority does.
Parents don't need to be there. I don't feel. They're just they're just there.
Just to do it, just to make sure that the parents are fine, keep paying. So they're like, oh no, we've got this one under control. When you come in.
True. Yeah, I guess it would be a bit weird. Like once like when a kid had killed himself, like you would be like, God, like what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
What would you take your kid out of that school, Andy?
Oh well, yeah. I don't think I'd ever have my kid in that type of school. I'm not a big fan of authority. Although again, I think we've had like different teachers and different like ways of teaching, right? From old Fletcher on Whiplash to Moneyball to all of them. And I wonder, where does this come in the pantheon of motivational skills? You just do whatever I tell you and don't think about it. I don't know.
I feel like we need to do a timeline of Andy and then these teachers and how they influence Andy at different stages of his life. So Whiplash might have been 1995, Andy.
No teacher ever had an influence on me. Unfortunately, I just didn't listen to them.
Wow. All of your teachers that are listening to this are going to feel really sad about that.
You know what? If any of my teachers are listening to this, please, you know, get in touch on Twitter. Let's let's
get a new job. Yeah.
This is the Twitter. This is the
Save
Twitter spat
everyone.
for this. It's all of Andy's teachers ever.
Andy versus the teachers. Who wins? Well, was there anything that you guys thought that dated the film?
I mean, the spanking for me, I thought that was very clearly outdated, and he really went for it. Like you can see him getting, stronger. I don't know, putting more into it every time. I was a bit like,
it's just a very strange way to punish someone, isn't it? There's just something where you're like, this is not just about the punishment. Yeah,
it's just it's such a weird thing. So that I thought that dated the film quite a lot.
Yeah. I love actually when they just get home and Neil's mom's just smoking in the living room, just sat there smoking away.
Yeah,
I was like, that's
enjoying her life.
Yeah, that's nice. Anything for you, Kev? Was there? I mean, the spanking is
yeah. I think the spanking's the main one, isn't it? And as Freddie said, he really he proper goes for it. And it's a bit of a weird, like it just shows a bit of how sadistic it was. Like, because he's not shouting loudly, the guy's like, "Oh, well, I'm going to do it harder then." And you're just like, God, like, what? happens to people? Like, why do they become like this? It's a bit strange, isn't it? But
Yeah.
how did you guys describe it to the aliens?
What did I put? I tried to be poetic,
Ah,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
but without writing an actual poem.
Ah,
Yeah.
see, it's influencing you already. I think.
I put, if nothing else, man has the power to move with words alone.
Ah, nice.
That's what I put.
I like that.
That's very nice. Oh, what about you, Andy?
Good.
Then did you come up with a nice poem as well?
I just
You might be getting booted off this podcast. Freddie might become the permanent fixture.
I just said it's boomers versus the system. That's
Oh,
that's what it is, and I think
Subject
I stand by
match.
it.
Yeah. Well, I guess
how about you? Was it just horrific? That was
yeah. Just I put a documentary into how boring life was before the internet.
You often mistake films for documentaries. It's
Very true. They
Yeah.
were actually studying in their rooms. No, I never did that.
Yeah.
I was on my phone. The papers were there, but I didn't do them.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, like when you just had to look at paper and like, wow, this is all there is to do. I remember I always used to say, like, when like video games came in and you could like, and then like you had TVs and stuff. I always remember saying to my dad, "God, so you used to have like a round circle and just hit it with a stick and run down the street, and that was more entertainment."
I found it funny that for Ethan Hawke's character, his procrastinating was doing another teacher's homework. And then it's like as if he's not supposed to, and he's like, "Fine, I'll do the chemistry." And it's like, well, no, the other one's still your homework.
It's still home. You still have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a type of attitude that, yeah, we'll see him go on to travel around Europe and meet a girl that he spends the night with. You won't know that reference, Kev. It's a romance movie. So it's fine.
No.
So I mean, I've had lots of the questions that the film asks. Was there any for you guys?
Oh, just for me, because can you only win an Oscar if someone dies in a film? Question mark. Yeah.
What was what was the last Oscar where someone didn't die? I think it's the
Yeah. I think it's just like, would this have won the Oscar if it hadn't have been for that final piece? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think it's an Oscar-winning film, personally. But you know, that's just
I
me.
don't know,
Maybe.
for writing. what did we say? It was up against quite a lot in writing as well, wasn't it? This is up against when Harry Met
more
Sally,
reason.
I think, did I say?
Yeah, but then I wouldn't say that would beat it the screenplay.
I mean, it's
Would you?
romantic comedy, so
that's one of the ones I've actually seen. So you know, if that helps.
Yeah. So, I mean, Sexualized Videotape. Have you seen that? Funnily enough, I watched that a couple of years ago as one of my 50. I found that quite dull.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Crimes and Misdemeanors. I mean, Woody Allen is Woody Allen. I would say, like, Do the Right Thing is probably a better written film than this, because Do the Right Thing is a stone cold classic. But
well, yeah. When are we going to get into your top 50 romance films? I mean, are you even going to be able to compile them? There's so many. Like, how are you going to condense this down?
Season 5, you won't be you won't be invited.
Yeah, it will just be my AI bots by then.
Which character then did you identify with, or did you want to be the most? Kev, were you Neil's dad? Did you think he actually had a point? he shouldn't waste his time.
Yeah, I just put none. I just couldn't think of any of them that I had anything in common with or that I wanted to be. So my answer was none, I'm afraid. Yeah. How about you, Freddie?
Well, there was right at the start, I was watching and I noticed there's a guy in the background who was just like sneaking snacks out of his desk, and I thought, yeah, that's probably me. But then just to try and pick one of the main characters, I did put I can't remember the names, but the guy who has the whole thing with the girl, because I thought he was just the whole way he handled women was just quite awkward, and I found it quite funny, and I was like, yeah, that was me. It's like
in this day and age, maybe don't kiss an unconscious girl.
No, I wouldn't do that. But it's just like how when he calls her And she's like, hello, and he hangs up. It's like, what is it? It's just, I just thought it was really funny, actually.
I love the fact that he goes to her high school and is like, just asks some random girl, do you know where Chris is? And she's like, oh yeah, she's over there. And you're just like, I'm not sure if a random guy just arrives at school and asks you where someone is. Don't tell them. I'm not sure that's a good idea. But then again, I really like that when he comes back though, and they're like, oh, what did she say? And he's like, it doesn't matter. Like I did it. I read the poem and that was what was important. Again, maybe this day and age that doesn't hold up quite as well, but you know, it's the 50s, so it was different.
I think, the whole thing with him, but yeah, and when he she calls and invites him to, or says she invites him to party, and his whole thing is just like, she was thinking about me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Quite
you're not going with her. No, she just said that she was thinking of me. Yeah. Well, funnily enough, one of the people that I actually thought me and you, Kev, would be.
Oh yeah.
Were the two people at the party getting him drunk,
whiskey,
talking about mutt. That feels like that's a joke that we would do if we were at a party and there was an underage person there. We'd be like, oh, how is old mutt? Let's drink some mutt.
That does feel like us. Yeah, almost like that we've actually done that before. Let's bring back those days in Seattle. Yeah.
And they do the classic hair in front of him to try and show that he's drunk now. It's like, his hair's no longer posh. He's clearly wasted.
That's mean as he's drunk. That was good.
What about double features then? What did you have for this, Freddie?
Well, I guess the obvious one is Good Will Hunting, just because it's another Robin Williams.
Yeah.
So maybe you could say that's, you know, Robin Williams, if Neil didn't kill himself and ended up working in construction.
This is what could have happened.
Yeah. Or maybe that's his second teaching job when he's a bit older. He teaches another kid. So yeah, maybe I'll go with that.
What happened after he left that school?
He goes somewhere else and teaches another kid.
Yeah, nice. What about you, Andy?
I went for Good Morning Vietnam, as we said. I think that, Robin Williams double bill.
Yeah. Good Morning Vietnam after this?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. The
other way around would be pretty
step forward in time.
Awful. Yeah.
I mean, just this and anything. What did you go for?
I went for The Visitor. So I'm like, if you're gonna just hate your life, then you might as well watch two of the most boring films in the world.
This action-packed film after watching The Visitor. It's the only way to make it seem really good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, it's good that you're watching The Visitor again and recommending that to people. Were there any? I mean, you said that you ignored all of the poetry, Freddie, but was there any lines that you particularly liked from it?
I liked when they were doing a walking exercise and Robin Williams goes, he points out Mr. Pitts, he knew they're talking about the walking. He's like, he knew he'd get there one day. I thought that was actually quite funny. Like I said, when he hangs up and he's like, hello, and hangs up and she's going to hate me. I thought, that was funny. Robin Williams, obviously, when he's talking about the phone call and he goes, it should have been a collect. I thought, it's quite.
Yeah.
And then the one you said earlier about Neil, when he's like, can I even enjoy the idea for a while? I thought that was actually just a good line because, obviously Ethan Hawke just shuts him down instantly. And it's like, it's just annoying when you enjoy something, someone's like, I don't care. I thought that was actually quite a good line.
Yeah. What about you, Andy?
Yeah.
You must have some good ones.
Yeah, no, there are some really good ones. I mean, first of all, let's talk about Yarp. And obviously that's a Hot Fuzz reference because the guy just says Yarp all the time, doesn't he? The tall guy. Most men live lives. No, is that? No. Well, maybe.
No, I mean, as in are they referencing it in?
I mean, with Edgar Wright, who knows?
I felt like with the whole Yarp scene and honestly the class, I felt like Ethan Hawke's character was just being bullied by Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And this kid's completely social anxious and he calls him out on it like twice, forces him to do the most, social things possible.
Yeah.
I thought he was being a bit of a bully, personally.
It's funny. It's funny in a
there you
life
go.
imitating art type thing, because actually, I think the poetry scene from Ethan Hawke was actually improvised, as in like he didn't know what he was going to say. And the fact that he was like the center of the scene and the camera's obviously spinning around him, he actually sort of he said afterwards that like that was the first time that he really felt like that he had done a scene and he'd like acted in a scene, and it gave him a lot of confidence moving on. And then there's quite a lot of
shame, isn't it, that was then the final good scene that he did in his career.
He's been in some classics. Juliet Naked. But and then there's loads of stories about the fact that he thought that Robin Williams didn't like him because actually he wouldn't laugh and break character when Robin Williams was improvising. So then Robin Williams kind of aimed it at him a bit more to try and make him like laugh and stuff, which obviously is Robin Williams. So much so that Ethan Hawke said that he thought that Robin Williams didn't like him. But then like 2 weeks after the film wrapped, actually Robin Williams' agent phoned Ethan Hawke and said like, "Oh, Robin says you're going to be a big star, so I should represent you." And that's still his agent to this day. So that's that's like a nice story that you'll hear about this. I love
but is
after
that secretly a little I've got you down because he's given him a terrible agent and he's not been in any good films. So is this actually what's happened? He actually didn't really like him.
I think has he had a good career? He's had his moments, I think.
I mean, I'm only joking there. I think he could have been better than he was. I think he's actually quite a good actor, and I don't think he's been in as many. And
just seems a really cool guy. I think that's kind of thing. He's really like matured into in all of his interviews and stuff. He just
seems like a nice person.
Like very interesting and a nice person. I love it after the corporal punishment. I don't want to call it a spanking scene. After the corporal punishment scene, when they're like, did you tell him, like, you've got to tell us? And they're like, Charlie, you've got to tell us. And he just says, "Damn it, Neil, the name is Nawanda," and then closes the door. And you're just like, you're still cool. And then
that was a good scene.
Neil saying
anything out of him from 10 spankings and orange hair just squealed him.
Exactly. Being in means being in, not just saying you're in. I like that. That as a line. And then a couple of I mean the most men live lives of quiet desperation, which is a famous line. I think is a good one. And I do think when he says, he was a poetry lover that used to get bullied and he'd go to the beach and people would kick copies of Byron in his face. I always, it's a very literary joke, but I quite appreciate it. But onto the reviews. Funny that you should say Good Will Hunting actually for your double feature, Freddie, because someone said after Good Will Hunting, this film was a little disappointing. So
I'd say Good Will's better. Good Will was definitely better.
So depending on which order you did your double feature, that could have been there. Someone just simply said for academics, and presumably does not class themselves as an academic if they gave it 3 stars.
Kev is an academic because I'm halfway there.
And he's full in. 2 feet in.
Well, it's funny because there are a lot of spelling mistakes in all the reviews for 3 stars, which is quite funny. Someone says the desk was in good condition, but the case was sadly broken, so the desk was just wiggling around. Luckily, I had a spare one.
Did they stand on their desk as well?
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they had desks on their mind after it. Maybe. Someone said a movie well worth seeing, but with a few changes and some more darker moments, it could have been a masterpiece. Someone was like, you know what? There's not enough dark moments in this film about teenage suicide. So,
exactly. We need these kids to be really hating life. Make it worse.
I mean, I thought Robin Williams' whole thing, because he's obviously quite guilt-ridden with it. I thought that was really depressing as well. So clearly they just thought he was just a bit upset that one of his students had gone.
When he breaks down and stuff. Again, the desk is really good. And then someone said, it was very good, but sadness of how it turned out for one of his students had me rate it only 3 stars. So they thought it was a good film, but it
Random.
was just a bit too sad. So they decided to give it 3 stars. So
So they loved the 2 hours of boredom and hated the actual useful bit of the film.
yeah, it was just
Wow.
too sad for them. Just didn't want to.
Yeah.
Didn't want to.
I need to
feel.
unfollow that person. We're just different people.
Go on then. What have you got for the hour go, Kev? Where presumably
I'll
just
put Good Will Hunting. I put in, and that was it. And I'm like, I don't want to think about this any more than that.
Well, I mean, the algo went for Mr. Holland's Opus. You ever seen that?
No.
History Boys, The Holdovers, Rushmore, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So basically, every high school teacher movie going. I think History Boys just isn't. I'm going to give it to the AI though, because you're fine with that. Yeah, you're fine with the AI taking this one. Good
for sure.
riddance.
Let him have it. Yeah, exactly. Keep it.
Clause 1 back 31-23 after a few weeks of not going.
And what about the other individuals? Carla's on 1. I think Rob's on 1. Yeah. Still everything to play for.
Did you have any? What would you have said it was like, Freddie? Presumably.
Yeah, Good Will Hunting's probably the only one.
So by default of Kev not getting the points, you don't get the points either.
Yeah, that's fine.
You just put a bit more thought in for the next Robin Williams movie. That
I think I'll just pick this one and Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Always just Robin
Maybe we'll
Williams.
chuck Jumanji in there.
Yeah, the next one's going to be good, actually, isn't it? So number 39, where does it go on the list?
Yeah, I still really like this movie. I was sort of thinking, is this the one to drop back to 51, just outside of the top half? And I went through the films that it would put it below. I was just about to say below. And yeah, I think I'm okay with it going to 51. I would still, 52 is Pirates of the Caribbean, and I feel like that's a stroke too far. So yeah, just go into 51 as the as the open space. I still really like it. I still think it's really good. I think it holds up for me. And yeah, it does just speaks to me.
Yeah, but only above the other 50 films that you watch.
These are my favorite of all time, as we keep saying.
I really, really like this film, but I will watch the other films first.
So, do we ask whether this has replaced The Visitor at the bottom? I presume it's not getting out of the bad section alive. So, is it rock bottom or?
It is in the bad section, yes, which we haven't had one for a long time, and I wasn't thinking we would get there again, but I'm very proud to that you decided to offer such a terrible film for me to be able to include it
in top 30s.
So you had it at 51. I've got it at 57. 57 of 61. So firmly in the bad section. So yeah, just above Serenity. I think I'd actually rather watch Serenity, and you know how much I did like that film. But then just above Juliet Naked, which that really is a terrible film.
Ethan Hawke double bill.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Ethan. Bad news for you. But yeah.
Wow. There we go. I think I don't think anyone's surprised. I think we didn't even bother doing the
predictions.
The predictions for Kev, but Freddie was surprised. We are surprised. You made it through 5 minutes before switching off last time. This time you've enjoyed it.
And I did remember the scene. I was like, yeah. I can't really say what it was now, but I saw it and I was like, this is where I switched off last time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's good.
Wow. So yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, we've introduced you to something you might not have watched a bit because 1989 is as ancient to you as 1959, even though we're definitely alive for one of them and not for the other. Well, thanks for coming down to the shop. Next week, classic, A Red Sun Rises. Blood has been spilled this night. It's starting to feel epic already. So get something to look forward to. Thanks to Tom Miller for the theme song. I think we should go and try and find a cave now and just go and hang out and read some poetry. We'll see you next week.
No.
Haiku, speech on the airwaves, stories of stories watched. Carpe Diem much.